Hi, I'm Lexi Palazzo.
Hi, I'm Natasha Lahara.
Hi, I'm Sierra Gainey.
And I'm Jacob Henley, narrating our project on the Roaring 20s. The Roaring 20s was a decade of prosperity for America. It was a time of political, social, and cultural change. Americans were very optimistic and had a lot of hope and motivation for the country. The economy and stock market were booming, and Americans hoped the good times would never end. The Roaring 20s began in 1920, which was right after World War I ended in 1918. The end of World War I was a major cause of the Roaring Twenties. The war had finally ended, and the soldiers were finally coming home. Even though America lost a lot of soldiers due to the war, America had come out on the winning side of the war, which is an exciting time for America. This helped build the Americans' confidence and trust in their government and military to protect their freedoms. World War I had left America the wealthiest country in the world and one of the most affluent societies in the world that anyone had ever seen before. Civilization and economic growth after World War I was tremendous for America. Consumption from Americans had drastically increased. The need for goods helped increase jobs to help produce these goods to sell to Americans. Americans had more money to spend now, which helped the flow of production and consumption in the economy. Also, Americans had the option to buy things on credit and slowly pay their goods and products off. Technology advancements and mass production of products also played a huge role in helping the economy. These technology advancements and mass production helped make goods more available for the middle-class people in America, and not just for the upper-class people. Since there was such a mass production of goods, it helped lower the price of the products, making the goods more affordable for the average American. Products like automobiles, radios, telephones, and phonographs were being mass-produced. Radios helped the economy prosper by advertising products to Americans all over the country. The advertising from radios made production increase because the consumer needs increased. Americans wanted to have the luxury goods and have what other Americans had. Women's rights beginning to change also played a huge role in the Roaring Twenties. In 1919, the 19th Amendment was ratified and passed by 1920, giving the American woman the right to vote. The Roaring Twenties was a time of new freedoms and independence for American women. The Roaring Twenties was the time of new women. Women were excited to see what the future had to hold for them. Women started acting differently because they had more freedom and confidence. Also, they started dressing differently by dressing less conservative and traditional, especially the younger women. Some of these women became what was known as a flapper girl. Flapper girls are known as a very popular symbol from the Roaring Twenties. Flapper girls were known as young women with short hair in a bobbed style and wore short skirts or dresses. These women also did things that were known to be unladylike in this time period, like drinking, smoking, the words they spoke, and doing things that were more sexual and vulgar. This was a major cultural change for women in America. In addition, the Roaring Twenties was also known as the Jazz Age. Jazz music became very popular in this time period because of people like Louis Armstrong. Radios and phonographs all over America helped spread jazz music. Jazz bands would play at clubs, and because of more Americans having automobiles, more people could drive to see the bands play. The older generations saw jazz music to be vulgar and depravity, but the younger generations loved it. Also, new dances like the Charleston and the Shimmy were created. Although the Roaring Twenties was a time of freedom and expansion, there were still a few problems throughout the country. One main problem was prohibition. The 18th Amendment to the Constitution had banned the production and sale of intoxicating liquors. Then, on January 16, 1920, every bar and tavern in the United States was closed by the Federal Volstead Act. It was illegal to sell any beverage that had more than 0.5% alcohol. This crucially hurt the liquor trade, but trade was still done illegally. The Roaring Twenties finally came to an end on October 29, 1929, when the stock market crashed. Due to speculation on the stock market, the biggest crash that the country had ever seen occurred. Stock prices plummeted, and the country was sent into a panic. This was known as Black Tuesday. It was going to be a tough time for everyone, and the effects that the crash had on the country were detrimental. America suddenly lost all of its wealth, became in debt, and prosperity ended. People lost their jobs, houses, and families were struggling to get by. The Roaring Twenties, the Jazz Age, and the economic boom were now over. the United States had now entered the Great Depression.